May all beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be apart from the supreme bliss which is free of all suffering. May all beings live in great equanimity, free from the attachment and aversions that keep some close and other distant. May all beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be apart from the supreme bliss which is free of all suffering. May all beings live in great equanimity, free from the attachment and aversions that keep some close and other distant. May all beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be apart from the supreme bliss which is free of all suffering. May all beings live in great equanimity, free from the attachment and aversions that keep some close and other distant. Okay, so we further talking about these four fundamental of mindfulness teaching. This mindfulness generally, this is for common topic from the sub-school class, the Hinayana, like Hirayana, solitary leisure yanas, up to of the Mahayanas practices, as mentioned yesterday. So these four we mentioned this morning, the four kind of the misconception object. So this misconception object is the misunderstanding mind is the root of samsara, of the ordinary how wandering into samsara. So therefore, first we need to recognize the faults of the samsara and the suffering of samsara. If you, when you recognize the faults, the sufferings of samsara, and then secondarily we should to know what is the actual cause and condition of the suffering of the samsara. And then when you recognize the actual cause and condition of suffering, samsara, and then thirdly we need to find it is possible to stop this suffering, it is possible to change these cause and conditions of sufferings. We need to research, and then if you find the perfect reason and the perfect of the antidote to the abandonment object suffering of samsara and the cause of suffering, without any doubt, the 100% is sure can stop. This kind of, when you found the convictions, and then that meant is the coming of the noble truth of the cessations, the stopping, we mentioned yesterday also too. And then is when you found this cessation, and then we need to train your mind entering into the path of Dharma. That's the fourth noble truth, the noble truth of the path of liberation. So these stages are as an antidote to of these wrong perceptions, the four kind of the wrong perception, because that's the root of samsara.
אנחנו ממשיכים את הנושא, ארבעת יסודות המיינדפולנס. אז הנושא הזה משותף מההינayana, מהרכב של השומעים, המגשימים בזכות עצמם, ועד המהayana. אז ארבעת התפיסות המוטעות הן שורש הסמסרה. הן הסיבה למה אנחנו נודדים בסמסרה. אז אנחנו צריכים לזהות את הפגמים ואת הסבל של סמסרה, ואם נזהה אותם, אנחנו צריכים להבין מהם הסיבות והתנאים האמיתיים לסמסרה. ואז אנחנו צריכים לבדוק האם אפשר להפסיק את הסיבות ואת התנאים לסבל הזה. אז אם בעזרת היגיון מושלם אנחנו נמצא את הנוגדן בלי שום ספק, אז אנחנו נוכל להבין גם את הפסקת הסבל. ואז אנחנו נגיע לאמת הנאצלת של הכחדת הסבל. ואחרי שאנחנו מבינים את האמת של הכחדת הסבל, אנחנו צריכים להיכנס לדרך הדרמה. אז ארבעת אלו הן הנוגדן האמיתי לסמסרה.
Anyway, the main antidote, the opposite of this four wrong perception, which is we mentioned also previously, impermanence, suffering, empty, and selflessness of self. These four is the antidote for this for wrong perception. So these four antidotes actually we can also describe into two different kind of characteristics. General character about these four antidotes and particular or specific the particular characteristics. So general means is generally each of these four object of the mindfulness, body, feeling, mind, and mental object, you should be to know as the impermanence. These four object of the mindfulness is at impermanence, suffering, empty, and selflessness of self. That's general characteristics, we say. Generally.
הנוגדן העיקרי, ההפך מארבעת התפיסות המוטעות, הארבעה הנוגדנים האלו, אפשר לחלק אותם לשתי סוגים, עם מאפיינים שונים. יש את המאפיינים הכלליים והמאפיינים הספציפיים. אז הכלליים זה שהגוף, התחושה והתודעה ומושאי הידע, אובייקטים מנטליים, הם הרעים, הם סבל, הם ריקים והם חסרי קיום עצמי. אז זה המאפיינים הכלליים.
And then the particular, the specific, the characteristics individually means is the each this one we need to divide of these four antidotes. Excuse me. It's blessings, really? Okay. Anyway, you need patience. I need you long warning. So, and the specific, these four kind of different antidote is as a depend to the of the four each the one of this each one of these four misconception. This mentioned also yesterday. The first one, the impermanence, particularly is the perception of the recognition of impermanence is the antidote to the of body, the wrong perception of the pleasant body, because body nature, the contaminated nature is as impermanence, the pervasive, all pervasive suffering, so momentarily change all contaminated aggregates of the body, so that's impermanence, especially for body. And then especially when you meditate with mindfulness, meditate with of the suffering, that times especially this recognition is antidote to the second wrong perception, the feeling, the object meditative mindfulness object of feeling, because normally we have attachment, desire to the feeling, the sensation. But in fact, the nature is not true. We mentioned yesterday, suffering of suffering, feeling of suffering change, feeling of the equanimity, neutral feeling, but as meant is that also all the pervasive suffering is there. So therefore, that is particularly antidote to focus on the object meditation, the feeling. And then the empty aspect of empty is rely on the object meditation, mindfulness, object of mentality, continuity, means mind. Mind is impermanence, we mentioned yesterday. Mind could not be existent, the self. Self cannot exist permanently, independently. One single way cannot exist one nature, same nature of the mind. It's not possible. So therefore, this kind of permanent self is completely empty to the mentality, the continuity of the mind. So therefore, the empty is a specific, rely on your meditation. Empty is rely on the mind, your mind, consciousness, best on the mind quality. And then the last one, the third one, is selflessness self. So this selflessness self meditation, it must be this contemplation on the object of mindfulness, the fourth, the mental of phenomena. Internal phenomena and the external of phenomena are selflessness self. That is a true nature. So therefore, it's during your meditation with this mindfulness, focus on this nature of the selflessness self nature and selflessness phenomena nature. So this is this is the specific characteristics of these four antidotes to the rely on the each of this one of the four.
אז המאפיינים הספציפיים הם שבאופן אינדיבידואלי אפשר לחלק כל אחד מהם לארבעה נוגדנים ספציפיים. אז לדוגמה, הראיות היא הנוגדן לתפיסה המוטעית של הגוף כנעים, כי הטבע של הגוף הוא למעשה הראי. יש את הסבל השורה בכל והראיות השורה בכל. וכשאנחנו מודדים על סבל, אז התפיסה הזאת היא הנוגדן לתפיסה המוטעית של התחושה. יש לנו היקשרות, השתוקקות לתחושות, אבל יש למעשה את הסבל של הסבל, הסבל של השינוי והסבל ששורה בכל, מה שדיברנו עליו אתמול. והנוגדן הרביעי, הריקות, היא הנוגדן לתפיסה המוטעית של התודעה כקבועה, כי למעשה אין עצמי קבוע יחיד. והיעדר הקיום העצמי של העצמי ושל התופעות היא הנוגדן לתפיסה המוטעית של התופעות כקיימות באופן עצמי. אז אלו המאפיינים הספציפיים שקשורים לכל אחת מארבעת התפיסות המוטעות.
And then that view or that meditation leading into the path of liberation mentioned the Four Noble Truths we mentioned yesterday also. Firstly, we need to recognize suffering and the faults of suffering, of the faults of samsara. That's a noble truth of suffering. Is it true or not? Then we say it's 100% true. Samsara is with the suffering and the cause of the suffering. That's very true. This truth is not a normal, ordinary truth, because ordinary truths can be sometimes mistake, sometimes misunderstanding. Almost is over 50% can mistake, even we say true, but it's an untrue. But the noble truth, we say noble, they have no mistake. they had already realization this true nature. They had already experienced this nature. They had already found the perfect, the authentic logic, reason. So they are understanding clearly. That's why finally their achievement already this stages. So therefore that's why we calling those beings are achievement beings are noble. Have no wrong explanations, no wrong perception. So that's true. This truth is real true, 100% true. That's a noble truth. If a noble being can have something is the unreal, some mistake comes explanations, and that tells us that is yet not noble. That's not a noble being, because they have misexplanation, they have mistake. So therefore, it's real the noble beings, Arya beings, supreme beings, or Buddhas, have no mistake. That's why they're completely freedom from the ignorance. So that's why they're already achievement state, omniscience, all-knowing knowledge, no mistake. So therefore, they have freedom of creation of delusion. They had freedom of creation over to the omniscience. So that's why this truth is the ultimate truth. That's why we say noble truth. So according to the noble truth, and then we say noble truth of suffering is true.
ההשקפה הזאת היא מובילה אותנו לדרך השחרור, לארבעת האמיתות הנאצלות או הנעלות. אז קודם כל אנחנו מזהים את הסבל והפגמים של סמסרה, זאת האמת הראשונה. וזה נכון ב100%, כי סמסרה היא מלאה בסבל. אבל זאת לא אמת רגילה שאפשר לטעות בה, זאת אמת נאצלת, נעלה, אין בה טעות. הם מבינים את הטבע הזה, הם מצאו את ההיגיון המושלם, והם הבינו לחלוטין, ולכן הם השיגו את הרמה הזאת וקוראים להם נעלים. מדובר כאן על יצורים נעלים, על אריות, על בודהיסטיות, על בודות, ואין להם טעות בכלל. אם הייתה טעות, אז הם לא היו נחשבים נעלים, אבל הם לא כאלו, הם השיגו את ידיעת הכל ללא טעויות, יש להם חופש מוחלט מהמסוכים של האשליות וידיעת הכל. אז זאת האמת האולטימטיבית.
And then noble truth of origination. So is this could be with the cause conditions or without cause condition of the suffering of samsara. When you go into research and then finally you found the understanding is 100% sure is true. The suffering of samsara is as with the cause and conditions. 100% sure cannot be existent without cause and conditions. The suffering alone itself. But who knows this truth? Is it true that with the cause, the origination, the delusion and karma is the origination of suffering? It is true or not? The question. As if we say true. How you know it's true? Because this explanation, these descriptions is from the wisdom mind of noble beings. It's a noble truth. Again, we say noble truth of origination of suffering. Because they know, they found, they understand, and they experienced, they did, entering into the path of the liberation. Finally, they stopped the origination of the suffering, so on. So that's a noble truth. Also, they have no mistake. No mistake, 100% is true. But you can check, you can judge what the noble beings they says. That can be true or not. Even you have no power to directly judge, but you can follow the valid cognitions. And then generally you can understand what they says is true or not. That's a noble truth of the origination.
אז האמת הנעלה של מקור הסבל, האם יש סיבה ותנאים לסבל של סמסרה? אז כן, ב100% יש סיבה ויש תנאים. אין אפשרות שסבל יקרה לבד מעצמו ללא סיבה וללא תנאים. אבל האם זו אמת או לא? אז כן, זה אמת, כי ההסבר הזה הוא מגיע מיצורים נעלים, בגלל שהם יודעים, הם מצאו, הם הבינו, הם נכנסו לדרך השחרור והפסיקו את הסבל, אין להם טעות. אז אנחנו יכולים גם לבדוק את זה בעצמנו, האם זה אמת או לא. גם אם בצורה ישירה אנחנו לא יכולים להבין את זה, אז בצורה עקיפה אנחנו יכולים לנסות להבין את זה.
Then the noble truth of cessation, stopping, also is their found, the logic, the reason. They have experienced, they have achievement state of cessation. Cessation means is stopping of suffering, samsara, and the causes of suffering, or the origination of suffering. This 100% is true. So it's not the noble truth of cessation, stopping. And then when you found these possibilities, and then we need to train into the path of the cessation. That is the noble truth, the path. So the path is actually so many different ways, but in briefly we mentioned yesterday, compassion, great method of compassion, and great perfection of wisdom, the realization, true nature of selflessness, and the wisdom with of the realization of selflessness of phenomena. And with these two, compassion and wisdom, that is the actual path for liberation. Could become part of enlightenment of Buddhahood. That's also true as a noble truth.
האמת הנעלה של הפסקת הסבל, אז היצורים הנעלים האלו הם מצאו את ההיגיון, את הסיבה, והם השיגו בעצמם את הכחדת הסבל ואת הסיבות, הם הכחידו גם את הסיבות, את הגורם לסבל של סמסרה. לכן זו נקראת אמת נעלה. ואחרי שאנחנו מבינים את האמת הזאת, אנחנו צריכים להיכנס לדרך עצמה, הדרך של הפסקת הסבל. אז הדרך היא חמלה, השיטה הגדולה, וחוכמה. הבנת היעדר העצמיות של האני והתופעות. ובעזרת שתי אלו, זאת הדרך האמיתית לשחרור, להערה, לבודהיות, וזאת אמת נעלה.
So very important to understand the Four Noble Truths. If you can very clearly understand the Four Noble Truths, and then you understand it really clearly is what means the Dharma. What is the benefit of the Dharma to sentient beings? And what problems if without Dharma, if you understand clearly. So in this case, maybe the simple example, the Four Noble Truths means it's kind of like we just use the analogy example. Like this time we have problem past 2-3 years, almost universally, which means is the COVID-19, the pandemic. So first, when you recognize the suffering of this pandemic, COVID-19, that is, we can say, like, that's not noble truth, but is directly we can say, but we can say maybe medical truth, medically, right? Medical truth, we can say, right? Medical truth, that is true, 100% true. What's happened, the problem. So many people we can see. That's similar as the noble truth of suffering. So this is the medical truth of suffering. That's first you see. Directly we can experiencing, we understand that is medical truth of suffering. And then this suffering, again, everything is you can directly feel experiencing about the suffering of this disease. No, there's a different level. Some kind of the sufferings you can experiencing directly, some is indirectly, as it means is a hidden phenomena. Some is a very hidden phenomena. That means was see the the pandemic, the sick ill is some is very strong, very painful. No need someone introduced to you, you have sick. you yourself very, as unbearable, where you can feel the sufferings. It's a very problem. That's a direct object of the medical truth of suffering. Then some is an indirect object of the sufferings. Even you had already this disease and this pandemic sick, but you need to go to medical check, and they recognize you have problem. Then you feel, okay, that was a problem for me. That means changes come to you, So like this way, even the suffering is not directly everything, so we can experience things. Just the course level, we can. This is the suffering of a noble truth. Also the suffering of suffering, we can directly experiencing. And the suffering of change, not easy, not directly. And especially all pervasive suffering is more difficult to recognize. But whether you recognize or not, that's what nature is suffering. That's a noble truth, suffering. Similarly, is the COVID-19, these also, one is directly experienced, one is indirectly, one is very indirectly. Whether you can recognize or not directly, but the suffering, that's true. Nature is suffering. So this is the medical science of truth suffering, first. I mean, so follow this way, this example, then we can more clear understand what talking for noble truth means.
אז חשוב מאוד להבין את ארבעת האמיתות, כי אז אנחנו יכולים להבין באמת מהי הדרמה ומה התועלת שלה ליצורים, לבעלי התודעה. מה הבעיות שיכולות לקרות אם אנחנו בלי הדרמה. אז דוגמה פשוטה, זה כמו הקורונה, כמו המגפה שקרתה בכל העולם. אז כשאנחנו מזהים את הסבל של המגפה, זה כמו האמת, לא האמת הנעלה, אבל האמת הרפואית, אפשר להגיד, של הסבל. אז אנחנו יכולים להבין את זה באופן ישיר. אבל האם אנחנו יכולים להבין את כל הסבל של הקורונה באופן ישיר? לא. חלק אפשר להבין באופן ישיר וחלק באופן עקיף. יש תופעות שהן גלויות, יש תופעות שהן נסתרות ויש תופעות שהן נסתרות מאוד. אז לדוגמה, חלק מהאנשים חלו בצורה מאוד קשה. הם זיהו את הסבל בצורה ישירה על עצמם. ולחלק היה להם את הקורונה, אבל הם לא הרגישו את זה באופן ישיר. הם היו צריכים את הבדיקה כדי לדעת שיש להם את הנגיף. אז הדוגמה הזאת היא מראה לנו שיש את כמו הסבל של הסבל שקל לראות אותו, ויש את הסבל, לדוגמה, ויש גם את הסבל של השינוי שלא קל לזהות אותו, ויש את הסבל ששורה בכל. אז זו דוגמה לחלק חוו בצורה ישירה, וחלק בצורה עקיפה רק חוו. אז זו דוגמה להבין את האמת הראשונה.
And then we need to research when true the medical truth of suffering of this COVID. And then this with the cause or without condition, without cause and condition. That's the questions. But 100% true must be with the cause and without conditions. Without cause conditions, they automatically, causelessly cannot experiencing the COVID-19 suffering, the medical truth of suffering. So this was the hurry to travel so many different scientific, the medicine, medical, where they check to find the cause. What happened was this comes, suffering is true already. That's true, there's no need to debate. Everyone, they agree this suffering is true. But this truth, the suffering comes from which cause? So the lots talk, right? Chinese talk something, American talk something, and so many different ways. These causes to find. Someone says from human, someone says from monkey, someone says from the bats. Okay, this one. The small birds. Bats, is it? Bats. Okay. From bats, not Batman. It's bats. Okay. Okay, so maybe it can be from Batman also too. So that's possible. Actually, it's most dangerous from Batman. So I think it's this exactly Batman, But Batman, as they choose many different causes from this actually himself, comes from. But it says that maybe this exactly. Anyway, as these means they're searching the medical truth of cause of the COVID-19, the suffering of COVID-19, So, and then little bit they understand. Finally, it's not very clearly 100% sure, but most they understand some cause and the conditions of this sick, this ill, right? So this means is the second truth comes, the medical truth of the cause, origination of this suffering. Get it, you know. And then the third, now the cessation, stopping. Not enough, they found the truth of suffering of COVID-19 and the causes of the conditions of the COVID-19. That's just the understanding good, but not enough, right? The point is we need to stop this suffering. We need to change this suffering. So how can stop this suffering? Already experienced as it cannot, but now coming we must be stopped these kind of sufferings, then we need to change the cause, the origination of the suffering of the COVID-19, right? So therefore, they check so many ways. It is possible to stop. They get it, they found it, little bit they understand the cause of this suffering, but not possible to stop this cause, to change these causes. Check them many times, and then they says they have solution. It's possible to stop or to damage a little bit, right? So make a little purification, like, you know, can something have the waste? That means the little bit of cessation, stopping, not completely, but it's okay. This is an example like the cessation of medical science, the cessation, the stopping of this sickness, this illness. Little bit they get it. That's the cessation, right? So, and there, when they found the cessation, and then you must need to follow the path, right? Path of the cessation means is the stopping, the medical science, the path, the truth of path. So, in this case, what we used to follow them, some what they says, otherwise different, many different. At the very beginning is just a solution, you or lockdown, or use the mask, or you need to hand wash, or so clean mix, or make distance between people to people, person to person. So many at this very beginning. Like this is a subsequent class of Buddhism, like Hinayana tradition. Okay, that's Hinayana tradition. See, and then they further check. First, they understand that you must be need to distance, and a solution also lockdown or something. Use this also can little bit support to you, but not very good enough yet. And then secondarily, they found the vaccination. They get it. This kind of like of the Sutra of Mahayana Bodhisattva's path. Like, you know, so they have some, they get it, the point, and that they can do some antidote of this, the origination of the suffering. So therefore we use lots of this vaccination, the injection is used. But also the many different qualities, right? This injection not the same, is a different power. So that means is the path have many different ways. Some is very perfect, excellent, shortcut, skillful. Some is not that much, you know, similar. So anyway, is something is we found the way. And then you follow or not, the medical science, they already show you part of liberation of this sickness, illness. But you can free from this or not is up to you finally. The Buddha already says, I show you the path for liberation. Can liberate or not is up to you. Buddha cannot do more than just show you the path. Medical science can advise and tell you, but can work or not up to you, follow you, you know. So therefore, it's a different people and different idea. Some is they're listening, follow them, everything's what they say. Some is not, even though against to the medical science, isn't it? As a demonstration to this, you know. Similar also as those teaching also, some very accept, you know, this. And then they practice, they have faith, trust. Some not, some even is a wrong view comes and against it to even Buddha, you know. It's a similar like this, you know. And then tantric is, we don't know this vaccination is, how comes tantric the best, finally that maybe is found some itself, the bacteria, the disease itself used for antidote. Do you understand? Little bit, yes. So that is a tantra, okay, tantric way. Tantric, the negative emotion, desire, anger, attachment, jealousy, hatred, harmful thought, itself used to antidote for the 3 poisons or 5 poisons. they understand. So this is very telling us clearly what I want to say, that part of small living being, part of middle living being, part of great beings. Because the part of small living beings have no much intelligence, so not enough. Therefore, easy way, just easy the agreement to say, or make the solution the distant, or make it a little bit lockdown, or make the the isolation, or make the kid of a mask. Don't touch, don't close the sickness people. Always, try away from them. This is like Himalayan tradition, okay? That's just for leave this of five sense pleasures object is poison for you. So that like this way. It can work, but not very helpful. But it can work, right? And then Bodhisattva have more courage and more confidence and wisdom. So therefore they understand you not always throw away. Something is you can close. Like if you have the vaccine, and then you can close, to the people, can touch or something, go there and so on. If you have good vaccine, then you have less problem, not that much problem, right? And then tantric, even without vaccine, the sick itself, if you get, as this can antidote for this future, it's no problem for you. This is tantric way. Anyway, is the path of liberation is true, but a different level. So just simple example, but the Four Noble Truths means is like this. And then this true or not, you need to judge, you need to check, Still we're not exactly sure 100%. The example is still going continuously. Completely we can stop or not this COVID-19. Still we don't know, or always with us, we don't know exactly. But something like this for Noble Truth, the point, the meaning.
אז אנחנו צריכים לחקור את האמת, האם יש סיבות ותנאים לסבל הזה או שלא. אז ב100% יש סיבה ותנאים, זה לא יכל להגיע לבד, בלי סיבות, בלי תנאים. המדענים הם חיפשו את הסיבה, את הסבל כבר, כולם זיהו, אז הם חיפשו את הסיבה. הסינים, האמריקאים, חלקם אמרו, זה מגיע מבני אדם, מהקופים, מהטלפים. אז הם חיפשו את האמת הרפואית של הסיבה לקורונה. ואז הם הבינו, לא לחלוטין, אבל בערך הם הבינו את הסיבות ואת התנאים למחלה הזאת. אז זו הייתה הסיבה, המקור לסבל הזה של הקורונה, של המגפה. ואז האמת השלישית, ההכחדה, זה לא מספיק להבין את הסבל ואת המקור לקורונה, צריך להפסיק, צריך לשנות את הסבל הזה. אז עכשיו צריך לשנות את הסיבות ואת המקור. אז הם בדקו איך אפשר להפסיק, לשנות את הסבל הזה, ואז הם מצאו שזה אפשרי, יש פתרון. לא לגמרי, אבל חלקית, אפשר לעצור את המגפה הזאת. אז יש הרבה שיטות, יש כל מיני דרכים, אז בהתחלה הם הציעו פתרונות כמו סגר, בידוד, מסכה, לשמור על היגיינה, ואז הם בדקו עוד יותר, ואז הם גילו את החיסון, שזה כמו, ההיגיינה והמסכה והבידוד והסגר זה כמו ההיניינה. ואז הם בדקו עוד יותר וגילו את החיסון, שזה כמו המהיינה, השיטה של הבודהיסטיות. להם יש את הנוגדן למקור הסבל. ויש כל מיני חיסונים ויש להם יעילות שונה, אז ככה יש גם כל מיני דרכים ויש כל מיני שיטות מיומנות, כן, לשחרור מהסבל. אז המדע כבר הראה לנו את הדרך לשחרור מהסבל הזה, אבל אם אנחנו נשתחרר או לא, זה תלוי בנו, הסבל של הקורונה. אז זה גם כמו שהבודה אמר, שהוא מראה לנו את הדרך, אבל השחרור הוא תלוי בנו. אז חלק כן הקשיבו למדע וחלק לא, וזה גם כמו עם הדרמה, לחלק יש אמונה ולחלק אין אמונה. אז זה היה לגבי המהיינה, ועכשיו זה היה לגבי הסוטרה, ועכשיו לגבי הטנטרה, זה אולי כמו להשתמש בנגיף עצמו. ואז בהקבלה על הטנטרה זה כמו להשתמש בחמשת הרעלים עצמם כנוגדן. אז הדרך של המתרגלים בעלי המוטיבציה הקטנה, הבינונית והגדולה, אז למתרגלים עם המוטיבציה הקטנה אין הרבה ידע, אז הפתרון שמציעים להם הוא קטן, הוא פשוט, זה אומר להימנע, להתרחק, שחמשת החושים, מושאי חמשת החושים הם כמו רעל בשבילנו. ואז לבודהיסטיות יש להם יותר אומץ ויותר חוכמה, לא צריך להימנע, להתרחק מהכל, יש חיסון, אז אפשר גם להתרועע עם אחרים וכו'. ואז בהקבלה לטנטרה אפשר להגיד שהמחלה עצמה יהיה נוגדן לנגיף. אז זאת דוגמה לארבעת האמיתות. והאם זה נכון, אז אנחנו צריכים לבדוק בעצמנו.
So very beginning, everybody going to the Hinayana tradition of this sickness. And then secondarily we let it be follow of the Mahayana traditions. And then finally knows, I think, Tantric, everybody with this sick, this ill, together. So you see, China says beginning is 3 years as the COVID, the zero COVID, they want to Hinayana tradition. But now it's they become also follow Tantra. I think it's that Tantric means it's together, to use this antidote. Otherwise, no possible, or only Hinayana way to stop. So anyway, I'm just kidding, but not really, but it's, yeah. Something like this. Anyway, as the Four Noble Truth. So, but it depends up to your capacity. Whatever you like, that's your choice. So therefore this Hinayana, Mahayana, Tantra, Vajrayana, that's up to your choice. What is suitable for you, what is comfortable for you, what you can do guaranteeing, this is a different solution.
אז בהתחלה כולם הלכו לפי דרך ההינayana של המגפה, ואחר כך לפי המהayana, ועכשיו לפי הטנטרה, אנחנו כאילו כבר כולנו כבר חלינו. אז סין בהתחלה הלכה בדרך ההינayana, אבל עכשיו הם כולם חולים, אז כמו בדרך הטנטרה. אז באיזה דרך אנחנו נלך, זה תלוי ביכולת שלנו, בקיבולת שלנו, זה תלוי מה מתאים לנו, מה נוח לנו, מההינayana עד המהayana והוואג'רayana.
So anyway, now when you're going to enter into the path of liberation, and then it's the very beginning you need to start mainly from these four, the fundamental of mindfulness, that's the basics, entering into the path of liberation. So in common way there's 37 the branches of the enlightenment comes. So among these 37, the first four is the four mindfulness is as the first four of these 37. So the path, how can we enter into the path is, as mentioned, you depend two. One is motivation, one is your wisdom. So especially the wisdom depend. If you have no power to recognition the selflessness of self, at least this kind of idea, you have no hearing wisdom, contemplation wisdom, meditation wisdom, and then we have to say you are entering into the path of accumulation, the first part, even though. And then on top you need your aspiration, the meditation, the motivation. And these two together, and then leading into the entering into the part of preparation, the first part. There's a 5 part: part of preparation, part of the part of the accumulation. Part of accumulation, the first part. Second part of preparation. Third is part of seeing. The fourth is part of meditation, and the fifth is part of no more learning. So, how can entering into the first part of accumulation is better wisdom and the better of compassion. These two union, if you can practice with this mindfulness, with these two, and then you can start entering into the path of accumulation.
אז כשאנחנו נכנסים לדרך השחרור, בהתחלה אנחנו צריכים להתחיל מארבעת יסודות תשומת הלב, ההיזכרות הזאת. זה הבסיס לשחרור. יש 37 ענפים להערה, ארבעת הענפים הראשונות, כן, 137 מהראשונים, הם ארבעת יסודות תשומת הלב, ההיזכרות. אז המוטיבציה והחוכמה הזאת הדרך להיכנס לדרך, כן, לדרך הדרמה. אם יש לנו אם אנחנו לא יכולים להבין את הדרך העצמי של האני, אז קשה להגיד שאנחנו נכנסים לדרך הצבירה. אחר כך אנחנו צריכים גם את המוטיבציה, זה מוביל אותנו לדרך ההכנה. אז יש 5 דרכים, יש את דרך הצבירה, הדרך ההכנה, דרך הראייה, דרך המדיטציה, ובסוף הדרך, אפשר להגיד, שאין מה ללמוד יותר. אז ככה אנחנו נכנסים אל הדרך הראשונה.
So the part of the accumulation, again there's 3 different levels, smaller, middle level, and great level. So the first part of these 3 part of accumulation is the method is this 4, the fundamental, the mindfulness we mentioned yesterday and today. So if you can do practice with your mindfulness and alertness on this view, on this conduct, on this contemplation, and then can enter into the path of a similar accumulation with these 4. And then you will be attainment state that the second part, the middle level of the path of accumulation. During the middle level part of accumulation comes to you, and then as you need to progress of the first these 4 mindfulness into of 4 abandonments, which means is you need to train your mind with the virtues. If not yet existent, you must be try to find the virtue. And then if already existent, then we need to progress or has to be increasing about your virtue mind. That's true. And then the opposite is when yet not, when they appear already appearances of negative emotions and non-merits, you should be to know how to purification, how to do purify, how to avoid this. If yet not appears of negatives, and then try to continuously have no chance to, should not give them chance to appear future of the negative. So these 4 is especially is with the mindfulness with these 4 is practiced in the middle of accumulation, the middle level, the part of the middle level of accumulation.
אז לדרך הצבירה יש 3 רמות שונות, יש את הרמה הקטנה, הבינונית והגדולה. אז הרמה הראשונה זה 4 יסודות המיינדפולנס האלו, ואם אנחנו מתרגלים את ההשקפה הזאת, אנחנו גם מיישמים את זה בהתנהגות שלנו ובמדיטציה שלנו, אז אנחנו נכנסים לדרך הקטנה של הצבירה, לרמה הקטנה, הנמוכה של הצבירה. ואז, לא, אם אנחנו נתרגל את זה, אז אנחנו נשיג את הרמה הבינונית. ואז שם אנחנו צריכים להפוך את 4 היסודות האלו ל4, אפשר להגיד, הזניחות. אם כבר מצאנו משהו חיובי, אז אנחנו צריכים, אם עוד לא מצאנו משהו חיובי, אז אנחנו צריכים למצוא אותו, ומה שכבר מצאנו צריך להמשיך ולצבור ולפתח. ואז אנחנו צריכים גם לדעת איך לטהר את השליליות, ואיך להימנע מהשליליות הזאת שעוד לא הופיעה, בכלל לא הופיעה. אז זאת הדרך הבינונית של הצבירה.
And then further focus on this with the mindfulness, with this practice, and then you will be reach the 3rd stages of the path of accumulation, the great accumulation path. So during the great, when you achieve mental state of the great path of accumulation, that times your main practice with another 4 miracle legs, we can say, miracle legs, which is the faith, the miracle power of faith, miracle power of the effort, exertion, diligent, we can say, the miracle power of the method of concentration, and miracle power of wisdom. So these 4, again, mindfulness is written in these 4, one of these 4. So during that times, you mainly focus on these 4 aspects of the branches of the enlightenment of the 37. So then you can cross of these 3 stages, part of accumulation, the smaller, middling, and the gross level.
אז הרמה הגבוהה של הצבירה, של דרך הצבירה, כשאנחנו מגיעים לרמה הגבוהה הזאת, אז התרגול שלנו הופך להיות 4, איך נקרא לזה? רגליים, כן, לא, כאילו משהו, ארבעת הרגליים הניסיות, נקרא לזה כרגע.
Oh, sorry, maybe these four. This four is I was misexplained. I think it's Den Sem Zong Shut in the Tibetan. Den means is the aspiration actually. That's the aspect the perception is aspiration. Then Sem, second is the contemplation. The second aspect is contemplation. The third is in the Sem Zun. That is the exertion, means is effort. The fourth is the Sem Zun should the investigations, analyze or investigations. So these four is the third stage of the great part of accumulation during that time especially.
אז ברמה הגבוהה הזאת, התרגול שלנו מסתמך על 4 רגליים, נקרא לזה. הראשונה זה שאיפה, השנייה היא הרהור, השלישית היא מאמץ, והרביעית היא חקירה וניתוח. אז אנחנו מתמקדים בארבעת אלו מתוך 37 הענפים.
And then further if you practice, but should not forget always the first fundamental, the four kind of the fundamental of mindfulness. That is always you need to keep on your mind. But then progress your the mental qualities, and then is your energy, the practice, the potential, the energies also is progress. Then we give in different the stages, the level of the aspect of these branches of enlightenment comes. So therefore, and then further if you do practice, then what comes? The next part of preparation, or part of maybe part of a joining or part of preparation. We can say any two different words, but the same point. Tibetan we say jorlam. Next, after of the passing the part of accumulation, then part of the preparation. So these part of preparation, again we can division into there's 4 different kind of aspect of the part of preparation, and the aspect of heat, pick, passion, or great dharma. So these 4 is during this part of preparation we can division into 4 different kind of aspect, the levels of 4 level different kind of aspect.
אז כשאנחנו ממשיכים לתרגל, אנחנו לא שוכחים את הבסיס שדיברנו עליו קודם, ואז אנחנו מגיעים לדרך ההכנה, וגם אותה אפשר לחלק ל4 היבטים. אז הראשון זה חום, אפשר לקרוא לו חום, השני זה פסגה, השלישי זה סבלנות, והרביעי זה דרמה גדולה. אז כן, את דרך ההכנה אפשר לחלק ל4 הרמות, או השלבים האלו.
And during this, the first 2 aspects of preparation, that times your main practice, you need to focus on 5 branches among of these 37, the enlightenment, the branches, there's another 5. So the another 5 means is a fat, the branches of we say faculty, actually, tapi wangbo, the faculty of fat, zongruji wangbo, the effort, the faculty of the effort, that's one, and again is the effort of the faculties of mindfulness, and then concentration, the samadhi, the faculties of samadhi or concentration, that's one, and then the last one, the 5th one, the faculty is the wisdom. So again, this become more strong than before, So especially these 5 faculties as a main method, how you train your mind in the part of the first 2 aspects of the path preparation.
ואז בדרך ההכנה יש בשתי הרמות הראשונות אנחנו מתמקדים ב5 ענפים שהם אמונה, מאמץ, תשומת לב סמאדי ואז חוכמה. ואז הם הופכים להיות חזקים יותר, הם מתגברים לאורך הדרך.
And then when you reach the second two aspect of the path of preparation, which is the patience and the grade of Dharma, during these last two aspects of the preparation, that times your meditation with the mindfulness, with focus on the 5 powers, we say. So these 5 powers, same nature, but as a different level of the first 4 faculties, the first 5 faculties. So the first one, the 5 faculties, in these changes into, we say 5 powers. Means is that now we say power of faith, power of the effort, power of meditative concentration, that's the power of mindfulness, the power of meditative concentration, the power of wisdom. That's the main methods, how to train your mind into the path of the last 2 aspects of path of preparation.
וכשאנחנו מגיעים לשתיים האחרונות בדרך ההכנה, אז זה סבלנות ודרמה גדולה. התרגול העיקרי שלנו הוא התמקדות ב5 הכוחות. יש להם טבע דומה, אבל הרמה שונה מ5 היכולות הקודמות. אז כאן הם הופכות להיות 5 הכוחות, וזה אמונה, מאמץ, ריכוז מדיטטיבי וחוכמה.
And then you will be attainment to the 3rd stages of the 5 path. 3rd path. The 3rd path is part of seeing. We say part of seeing. What means is seeing? What is the object of to see? Exactly, directly, you can see by your primordial wisdom to that the true nature of your selflessness, self. If Hinayana traditions and Mahayana traditions, not only just to see selflessness of self, but on top you can see the selflessness of phenomena, the emptiness, means the emptiness of self and the emptiness of phenomena nature. Not only understanding, not only experienced, but you can realization, you can experiencing directly, realization directly. You can realize directly by your primordial wisdom mind. So you never seen before yet. Then just when you recognize this true nature. So that's first step on your life. On your life means not this life. We're talking on your life of samsara. First time you recognize realization, your true nature of selflessness self and true nature of phenomena. So that's why we used this ground, is we say the 3rd ground is, 3rd part is a part of seeing, because that's the first time you see the true nature in this samsara. It's beginning. So that's why it's a part of seeing.
ואז אנחנו משיגים את הרמה השלישית של הדרך, את השלב השלישי. אנחנו מגיעים לדרך הראייה. אז מה אנחנו רואים? מהו האובייקט? אז אנחנו רואים באופן ישיר, באמצעות החוכמה הראשונית שלנו, את היעדר העצמי של העצמי. זה בהינayana, ובמהayana אנחנו רואים גם את היעדר העצמיות של התופעות, הריקות. אנחנו לא רק מבינים וחווים, אלא אנחנו מגשימים את זה בצורה ישירה על ידי החוכמה הראשונית של התודעה שלנו. וזאת למעשה הפעם הראשונה שאנחנו מזהים את זה, את הטבע האמיתי של האני והתופעות, את היעדר העצמיות שלהם. פעם ראשונה בסמסרה שאנחנו רואים את זה.
So therefore, since we're beginning entering into the path of a smaller accumulation, up to path of seeing, between there we are still ordinary person, ordinary being, not Arya being, not supreme being, not of the Buddha, of course, not Arhat, of course, yet, but we are ordinary. But as we are already as practitioners, we are already entering into the path of Buddha Dharma. So, and then during this part of accumulation, part of preparation, what is your main practice? Collection merits, collection of wisdom. We need to collect wisdom and we need to collect of the merits. how we can collection merits, how can we collection of the wisdom. These depend to your motivation and depend to your knowledge. These two is a main method. Knowledge is, we mentioned the mindfulness of this, the application, the fundamental, the mindfulness of recognition, emptiness, selflessness, self, if Hinayana traditions, and then on top Mahayana traditions, selflessness of phenomena, emptiness. So these first you hearing wisdom, emptiness, need to collect it, wisdom of hearing wisdom, and then is you need to collection the wisdom of contemplation, wisdom, and then thirdly you need to collect the wisdom of meditation wisdom. So anyway, hearing, contemplation, and or the reflection of the word, the contemplation means the wisdom, and then meditation wisdom. These three is the main method for collection wisdom. Without lack of this kind of knowledge, then you cannot enter into the path of the accumulation of the wisdom, cannot. And then is on top, at the simultaneously, you need to take the pure motivation. That means is, if Mahayana traditions, you need to cultivating on the mind of enlightenment, cultivated mind of enlightenment. That is, if Hinayana traditions, at least you should be to, yourself as soon as possible is to free from samsara and achievement state of nirvana. But doesn't mean Hinayana traditions lack compassion and loving kindness. They have also very strong compassion and love to sentient beings. That's of course. Then what difference between Mahayana and Hinayana tradition motivation? Difference, Mahayana tradition, they have method. How can enter into samsara till emptying samsara benefit to other sentient beings on top of compassion, love. They have the method. So therefore they have courage, the confidence. They have set this kind of the gross level of the confidence, a gross level of courage arising, because they have method how to do benefit sentient beings by himself or herself, manifestation into samsara. They know. But unfortunately, the Hinayana traditions teaching, they lack the method how to transform themselves into samsara, benefit others. They have no this method. So therefore, they have no courage to reborn again and again, emptying samsara to benefit others, only having renunciation to samsara, and therefore they run away from these faults of samsara, the suffering of faults, and they want to achievement nirvana. But doesn't mean they doesn't like to other sentient beings achievement nirvana. They want, of course, they wish, but they have no method to leading, all sentient beings enlightenment minded after he achievement of the arhat. So therefore they're falling extremes of the nirvana. This is the only the distinguish. It doesn't mean, because sometimes people are thinking compassion and loving kindness is only from Mahayana traditions. That's not.
אז מדרך הצבירה עד דרך הראייה, אנחנו עדיין יצורים רגילים, לא נעלים, אנחנו לא אריות, לא ארהטים, לא בודות, אבל אנחנו כבר מתרגלים. כבר נכנסנו לדרך הבודהיזם. אז מה התרגול העיקרי שלנו שם? זה צבירת פוטנציאל חיובי וחוכמה. ואיך אנחנו צוברים אותם? זה תלוי במוטיבציה ובידע שלנו. הידע זה אומר mindfulness, היישום, זיהוי הריקוד של העצמי בהינayana, ובמהayana גם היעדר הקיום העצמי של התופעות. אז אנחנו צוברים את חוכמת השמיעה, את חוכמת ההרהור וחוכמת המדיטציה. זאת בעצם השיטה לצבור חוכמה. כי בלי אלו אי אפשר להיכנס לדרך צבירת החוכמה. ובו זמנית אנחנו צריכים לפתח גם מוטיבציה טהורה, את תודעת ההערה לפי המהayana. ובהינayana אנחנו רוצים לפתח את הרצון להיחלץ כמה שיותר מהר מסמסרה ולהשיג את הנירוונה. אז גם להינayana יש חמלה לבעלי התודעה, אבל ההבדל הוא שבמהיאנה יש להם שיטה איך להועיל לבעלי התודעה, איך להיוולד שוב ושוב, איך להתגלם בסמסרה, ויש להם את השיטה הזאת ולכן יש להם אומץ, יש להם ביטחון עצמי. להינאיינה אין את השיטה הזאת ולכן אין להם את האומץ להיוולד שוב ושוב, הם רק רוצים לברוח מסמסרה ולהשיג נירוונה, ואז הם נופלים לקיצוניות של נירוונה. אז לפעמים אנשים חושבים שרק למעיינה יש חמלה, אבל זה לא כך.
Therefore, both Hinayana tradition followers and Mahayana tradition followers are very strong compassion, strong loving kindness to other mother sentient beings, because each they believe all sentient beings are mother. There's no difference. Difference with method or without method for benefit other beings. This is only distinguish. So that's why they give an example when oftenly this is used many times from the Sutra text says, like the mother, great, the compassionate mothers, without two arms, mother without two arms, and her son falling in the river, then how is her feeling? Very pain, very suffering, very sad. That means how strong compassion, how love her son. We can image, without two arms, but her son unfortunately falling in the river. But she cannot do only cry around on the side of the river, but cannot jump in the river. Have no power. She knows she have no method to take from the river, because if you jump and then gather, both die. This is 100 because without arms, that is the point, But this tells us, even since Hinayana traditions are hard, solitary followers, how strong compassion, love to sentient beings. That's the example. Without arms, mother, her son falling in the river, how suffering, how pains like. Because sentient beings falling river like samsara, but are hard, they know the situation, that's how they're sad, how compassion love them. But the difference have no method, because they don't know how to swim in samsara. This is the problem. And then other examples of the Mahayana tradition followers is with two arms, the hero father, like, and the hero father, the army, and her son is wandering into the war, big war, fighting in the place. And then father, when they concerned, her son is just walking in the road and the fighting, and no doubt, just straight can jump and go there, because he had the power. He had the method to know how to fight, how to protect, how to save her son, So it's many, very skillful, have the method. So therefore, he just straight into jumping in the war and to save her son or so on, So, but compassion is not difference. Maybe you see the mother maybe more painful, the without arms and falling the same. Anyway, compassion and love is the same, like parents, it's the same to children. But one lack the method, one with the methods. So this is only Bodhisattva's path is more rich. Many the means, there are many different means, options, So this is only separated, but doesn't mean have no compassion, love. All the Dharma practitioners, rather doesn't matter which tradition, have to, because we're talking now the collection merits and collection wisdom. So how we can collect the merits, like for the 6 perfections as for collection merits, especially the first 5 of the 6 perfection, or first 5 perfections are main method for collection merits. But can collect the merits much or no? It depends on your motivation, compassion, love, So therefore, it's lack compassion, love, there's no way for collection merits. If you know where collection merits, then you cannot enter into the path of even accumulation, so on. So that's the main method for collection merits. So therefore, wisdom is for collection merits, the emptiness practice, and the compassion, love, and kindness, the method for collection merits. These together, union, the emptiness, wisdom, and method of compassion, if you practice, that means you can collect the merits, the union, the both wisdom and the merits. Then quickly you can cross the path of accumulation, path of preparation, so on. You can passing easily.
אז לשניהם, גם למהיאנה, גם למתרגלי המהיאנה וההינאיינה, יש חמלה ואהבה חזקה לכל בעלי התודעה שהיו אימהותינו. אבל ההבדל ביניהם הוא רק בשיטה. אז הדוגמה כאן היא כמו חמלה גדולה של אימא שאין לה את שתי הידיים שלה, והבן שלה נופל לנהר. אז היא מרגישה נורא, יש לה כאב עצום, ויש לה המון חמלה לבן שלה, אבל היא יכולה רק לבכות. אין לה כוח, אין לה את השיטה, אין לה את היכולת לעזור. אם היא תקפוץ לנהר, אז שניהם ימותו. ובעלי התודעה הם נופלים לסמסרה כמו אל הנהר, אבל לארהטים אין את השיטה הזאת איך לשחות בסמסרה. והדוגמה השנייה זה כמו אבא גיבור שהוא מאוד חזק ויש לו שתי ידיים כמובן, ואז הוא רוצה להציל את הבן שלו שהוא נלחם במלחמה. אז האבא נכנס לשם בלי להסס, יש לו את הכוח, יש לו את הדרך איך להגן, איך לשמור, יש לו את השיטה, ואז הוא נכנס ישירות ללחימה והוא הולך והוא מציל את הבן שלו. אז זה כמו המהיאנה. אז אין הבדל בחמלה, אולי אפילו אפשר להגיד שלאמא יש יותר חמלה, אבל לאחד יש את השיטה ולשני אין. אז לבודהיסטיות יש יותר אפשרויות, יש להם יותר אמצעים, וזה לא משנה באיזה מסורת, באיזה דרך אנחנו הולכים, אנחנו צריכים לצבור את הפוטנציאל החיובי. אנחנו מדברים על 6 השלמויות, במיוחד 5 הראשונות. אין למעשה השיטה לצבור פוטנציאל חיובי. אבל גם זה תלוי במוטיבציה שלנו, חמלה ואהבה. בלי זה אי אפשר להיכנס לדרך הצבירה. אז חוכמה וחמלה, שתיהם ביחד, הייחוד ביניהם, הייחוד בין חוכמת הריקות והשיטה שהיא החמלה. אז אם יש לנו את שניהם, אנחנו יכולים לצלוח בקלות את הדרך של הצבירה וההכנה.
So therefore, it's very much depend to our motivation and wisdom. You are Mahayana practitioners, or Hinayana practitioners, or Tantric practitioners. Not so much depend to which follow you traditions, which traditions you followers. That is, yes, but that's the condition, but not that is, we cannot decide it 100%. For example, we are from the Tibetan Buddhism, the lineage I mentioned in the Buddhism lineage comes through or from Tibet. Today we used to say Tibetan Buddhism, we say. But anyway, it's a Tibetan Buddhism was the 1,000 years before when the flourishing from India into Tibet is a Mahayana tradition actually. Fully Mahayana tradition, both of Sutra and Tantra. So therefore, these kind of Tibetan Dharma followers are, actually we are followers of the Mahayana, there's no questions. But in fact, we are really entering into the path of the Mahayana, or we are following extremes of Hinayana, or even not Hinayana. That's the questions, because our books is Mahayana books. Our prayer is Mahayana book, the prayers, Our tradition is Mahayana, our lineage is Mahayana. But individually, you are Mahayana or not is on your wisdom, depend on your motivation. That's very clear. So therefore, even when we are doing of course, the Mahayana enlightenment, complete enlightenment, Buddhahood, this kind of practice, we're doing, everybody, sure, doing, but in fact, it's sometimes very rare. We are entering into exactly the path of completely achievement Buddhahood, or even though rare, entering into the path of the achievement of nirvana. But hope, at least hope, wish we already Dharma practitioners entering into the path of similar beings. Okay, that's also quite good. Similar beings. What means is they're more focused, more thinking, more wish, immediate next rebirth, not falling unfortunate 3 lower realms, And whatever you do in practice, everything's are aspiration, your prayers for immediate next rebirth, the least reborn again higher fortune realm and the virtue country, virtue family, and virtue rebirth. If you have strong this wish, really your practice is 80%, 90%, I can't say 100%, you know, but it's then perfect still. But we doing Mahayana tradition practice, right? Follow, it's Mahayana. But in fact, I say, is 80-90% is that can follow the leading you into the entering into the path of smaller beings, still perfect. Okay. From Mahayana tradition, they don't say you are perfect, but from my way, I'm saying you are perfect. Okay, we are perfect, still good, quite enough, because not easy. The ordinary is the attachment, the desire of this world, of this universe. You know, too much we have habitual the tendencies to attachment to the of this life, too much. We have not yet renunciation enough of forgot samsara, but even though this life, you know. So this meant is this leading us worldly path, even not in the of the path of smiling, even. So therefore, each individually, each person's path we cannot decide it, say from outside. It's inside of your motivation and your wisdom. Even though we follow one tradition, I mean, you know. So therefore, train your mind as much you can, cultivate it on the best way, as much you can. Try, but you check yourself. What kind of you practice doing meditation, for really purpose what? What for final aim is what? You know, you check, you ask yourself, then you get an answer from you. And then you feel, okay, this answer is good, then do it, continue. The answer not good enough, then try to change your motivation. Okay? That's very important.
אז אם אנחנו מתרגלים היניינה, מהיינה או טנטרה, בעצם זה תלוי במוטיבציה והחוכמה שלנו. השושלת של הבודהיזם הטיבטי, אפשר להגיד, היא באה מטיבט, אבל בעצם היא הגיעה מהודו. זה מסורת, לפני אלפי שנים, זאת מסורת המהיינה. אז הספרים הם מהיינה, התפילות, השושלת, הכל מהיינה של הבודהיזם הטיבטי. אבל אם אנחנו באמת מתרגלים מהיינה או לא, זה תלוי בנו, בכל אחד מאיתנו, במוטיבציה והחוכמה שלנו. רינפוצ'ה אמר שזה נדיר להיכנס לדרך האמיתית להערה, לבודהיות, או אפילו להיכנס באמת לדרך של השחרור מסמסרה. אז אנחנו צריכים לפחות לשאוף להיכנס לדרך של המתרגלים בעלי המוטיבציה הקטנה, שהם רוצים להיוולד במישור קיום גבוה ולא ליפול למישורי קיום הנמוכים. אז אם יש לנו את השאיפה הזאת, זה מעולה. אפילו אם אנחנו, כן, אפילו אם יש לנו רק את השאיפה הזאת, אפילו אם אנחנו רק מתרגלים את הדרך הזאת, אז זה עדיין, זה מעולה, זה מצוין. כי זה לא באמת פשוט להשתחרר מההיקשרות לעולם הזה, לחיים האלו. עדיין אין לנו את הרצון להיחלץ מסמסרה, או אפילו אין לנו, לא השתחררנו מההיקשרות לחיים האלו. ולכן אי אפשר לדעת מבחוץ מה המוטיבציה של כל אחד מאיתנו, למרות המסורת החיצונית שאנחנו מתרגלים. ואנחנו צריכים כל אחד מאיתנו לטפח את התודעה בהתאם לדרך שאנחנו מרגישים בנוח איתה, שהיא טובה לנו. כן, וזה הכל.
Anyway, then when we reach the path of seeing, and during these stages, main practice, progress from the first stages, the levels of progress into now is the 7 branches of the enlightenment. From the 37, the branches of enlightenment, the particular specific, the another 7 branches of enlightenment, we can say. These 7, the branches enlightenment, again, some is similar the previous one, and then is on top there's some other aspect, and then there's 7. So this 7 is in Tachun Chandan Shirap 1. No, I'm sorry. So is it mindfulness, the excellent mindfulness, the excellent of discriminative wisdom. That's that. Oh no, that's sorry. And then excellent effort. And then excellent of the enjoyment or pleasement mind. And then the excellent the placement mind, or the flexible, the achievement of the placement, right? Make flexible like. Or the 60 is the placement mind, the stage, the flexible, the sixth. And then last one is the great equanimity, the excellent great equanimity, your practice become achievement. So these 7 branches enlightenment is particular, the method for train your mind for collection. Still continuously we need to collection merits. Still we need to continuously collection of wisdom. And during this part of seeing, even though you are attainment state of noble being, Aya being, supreme being, Arhat like, because part of seeing, then you are not ordinary person. No, you are become as an extraordinary person, Aya being, because you have achievement part of seeing. That means is when you see the true nature directly, recognition, that is you have freedom from the obscuration of delusion, the gross level of afflictive emotions. And you have also freedom from the root of samsara, the ignorant. And completely you have freedom from the contaminated karma, the origination of samsara. You have freedom, stopped. So therefore, you are become extraordinary. You are not anymore of ordinary. But still we need practice, continue to do practice, need to collection merits and wisdom. So how continue collection merits wisdom is these 7 branches of enlightenment as main method for collection merits and for wisdom, collection wisdom during the path of seeing.
אז כשאנחנו מגיעים לדרך הראייה, התרגול העיקרי שלנו הוא 7 הענפים של ההערה מתוך 37 האלו. חלק מהם דומים לענפים הקודמים וחלק מהם קצת שונים או משמעות קצת שונה. אז יש היזכרות מצוינת, חוכמה מבחינה מצוינת, מאמץ מצוין, הנאה מצוינת ותודעה גמישה, אפשר להגיד, מצוינת, ושוויוניות גדולה או מצוינת. אז זאת השיטה לצבור פוטנציאל חיובי וחוכמה בדרך הראייה. אז אנחנו בעצם הופכים להיות יצורים נעלים, ואנחנו רואים את הטבע האמיתי. ואז יש לנו חופש מהמיסוכים של האשליות הגסות, ויש לנו חופש מהבורות שהיא שורש הסמסרה, וחופש מהקרמה הנגועה שהיא מקור הסבל. ולכן אנחנו הופכים להיות יצורים נעלים, אבל אנחנו עדיין ממשיכים, עדיין אנחנו צריכים להמשיך את הצבירה באמצעות 7 הענפים האלו.
And then next stage, the part of meditation is coming. So this part is meditation means it doesn't mean we don't need to do meditative. When since beginning part of accumulation, we need to meditate. But why is after the part of seeing, then we calling the part of meditation. This meditation is the realization true nature, selflessness self, and the realization true nature, selflessness phenomena. This view, that recognition, that experiencing, that achievement, you need to progress further, has to be more further the familiarity has to be familiarity. So therefore meditation means is to be a familiarity further, that's a meditate. You already have recognized realization, but not yet familiarity. So therefore now we make this more strong and more clear, as a proofs this recognition. So that's meditation is for familiarity. So that we're calling is next, the fourth part is the part of meditation. So these part of meditations we can division into 9 stages. The second ground or second bhumi, because 10 bhumi from the first part of seeing till of the 10th bhumi, and between there we said 10 bhumis or 10 ground. So among the 10 is the first one is the part of seeing. So we're including part of seeing already mentioned. So then as from the second ground or second bhumi to 10th ground, between there is 9 stages. During these 9 stages progress, the meditators, we calling these noble beings, these Arya beings are entering into the path of meditation.
אז השלב הבא, דרך המדיטציה. אחרי שהשגנו את דרך הראייה, ואנחנו רואים את הטבע האמיתי, את הריקוד של האני והתופעות, אנחנו צריכים להמשיך ולפתח את ההבנה הזאת, אנחנו צריכים להתרגל לזה עוד, אנחנו צריכים לחזק את זה, שזה יהיה יותר ברור. אז זאת דרך המדיטציה, ויש לה 9 שלבים. אז הבומי, יש 10 שלבים. הבומי הראשון הוא דרך הראייה, ואז מהבומי השני עד העשירי יש 9 שלבים שהם, ואז היצורים האלו, מהשני עד העשירי זה למעשה הדרך המדיטציה. כן.
So therefore during this part of meditation for 9 stages, you need to further continuously collection merits and collecting wisdom by the power of the 8 folds of noble path, we can say, from the 37 the branches of the enlightenment is the last 8 of these 37. So these last 8 is, we can say, 8-fold the branches of noble path, we say, because you are noble being already now. But during the meditation part of meditation noble, during the part of meditation from the 9 stages, your main practice is these 8-fold, the 8-fold of noble path. So what is 8-fold of the noble path? Just I quoted on Tibetan for easy, then it comes on mind. So, and the first is the excellent view. The first one, excellent view. Since beginning we need to perfect view, but not that much excellent, because this is the last stage of the path of the dream of the path of bodhisattvas or so on. So therefore there's no more higher excellent. So that's why it's the excellent view. Excellent contemplation, mind or realization. Excellent speech. Speech is like teaching, excellent teaching. When you debate, when you questions, the excellent answer, excellent something, the discussions from, there's no mistake any. So excellent, it's a noble truth speak is coming. So therefore, that is, we say, excellent speech, use the benefit sentient beings. Excellent activity, the excellent activity, the action. There's no mistake action, any, the morality, conduct, or so on. The ethics are very beginning, we need to perfect the ethic morality, but not that much. So this is the final. So therefore, excellent activity of the noble beings for benefit each others with of the excellent activities. Excellent livelihood. Excellent livelihood without any violence, not only without violence, but is the benefit for each others with your livelihood, can perfect without any delusions, without any afflictive emotions, without any negative emotions, without any negative activities. Your livelihood has become perfect, excellent, for directly or indirectly benefit sentient beings. Your livelihood become. So that is your practice special. As one is the branches. Then is the excellent of the exertion, the effort, or the diligent, or the effort, excellent effort for benefit you or for benefit the other sentient beings, for collection merits, for collection wisdom. They have no more higher excellent effort for this kind, especially for purification of the obscuration of omniscience, all knowing knowledge, or so on. There's a very excellent and exertion. And then Jamba, excellent mindfulness. Now again we need to the proofs, of course, the mindfulness sense from beginning, part of accumulation, but here is excellent mindfulness during the meditation positions, of course, but even the equipoise meditative concentrations, of course, but even though during the positive meditation, it's excellent your mindfulness always, for always. So therefore is these okay, then the last one we just tell first the excellent meditative concentration, the eighth, the last one, excellent samadhi, the meditation. Since very beginning part of accumulation we need to focus on the samadhi. We mentioned mindfulness is there's two qualities. One is wisdom vipassana, and one is of the shamatha, the meditation, samadhi, the concentration quality, but not that much excellent very beginning. So now as you reach the last part of meditation, you are noble being, and this also during the part of meditation. So therefore is your these practices, the meditation concentration is no more higher excellent than this. That is excellent. Excellent meditation is method one for collection merits, for collection wisdom, for purifications, for benefit each others, or so on. So this is the eighth. So this total is the eightfold, the branch of a part of a noble beings practice. This is the last 8 of the 37 branches of enlightenment practices.
אז בתשעת השלבים האלו צריך להמשיך לצבור פוטנציאל חיובי וחוכמה על ידי 8 הענפים האחרונים, והם השקפה מצוינת שאין גבוה ממנה, הרהור מצוין, דיבור מצוין כמו לימוד, כמו דיבייט, שהתשובות שלנו מצוינות ללא טעויות, הדיבור שלנו הוא נעלה והוא מועיל לבעלי התודעה, ואז יש לנו פעילות מצוינת או התנהגות מצוינת ללא טעויות במוסר שלנו, באתיקה, ואז יש לנו דרך חיים או livelihood, זה קצת כמו הפרנסה שלנו, שהיא מצוינת ללא אלימות, ללא אשליות, בלי רגשות שליליים, בלי פעילויות שליליות, ואז יש לנו מאמץ מצוין להועיל ליצורים אחרים, לצבירת שני המצבורים, לתיאור המיסוכים, לידיעת כל, ואז יש לנו את ההיזכרות, את תשומת הלב המצוינת, גם במדיטציה וגם אחרי המדיטציה היא תמיד מצוינת, ואז יש לנו ריכוז מדיטטיבי, סמאדי, מצוין. בדרך הצבירה אז יש לנו גם ריכוז מדיטטיבי, אבל הוא עדיין לא מצוין. אבל עכשיו אנחנו כבר בדרך המדיטציה, אנחנו יצורים נעלים, ולכן הריכוז שלנו הוא מצוין ואין גבוה ממנו, ואלו הם 8 הענפים של היצורים הנעלים, 8 הענפים האחרונים ב-37.
And then the last part of these 5 stages, you will be finally attainment, part of no more learning, we say, no more studying or no more learning. That means is the 11th part, the 11th ground, after the 10th bhumi. The 11th ground is Buddhahood actually. When you achievement 11th ground, that is part is a part of no more learning, because end your studying, your purification, your collection merits, your collection wisdom, everything is the for collection the qualities and for purifications are ended or ending completely end. There's no more, because your achievement state of all knowing knowledge. You have achievement completely freedom from obscuration of delusion, of course, even the imprint And even though you have freedom from the obscuration, the imprint of omniscience or knowing knowledge obscurations, so no left, even one Chinese stance, not there anymore. So just completely, what is the suchness nature of yourself, Buddha nature? Completely your attainment state of this true nature of the suchness nature of Buddha. So therefore, as you are Buddhahood, then no more learning. That's the final, completely enlightenment mind stage of Buddhahood.
ואז הדרך האחרונה, אנחנו למעשה נשיג את הדרך, את השלב שאין יותר מה ללמוד. וזאת הרמה ה-11, השלב ה-11. וזה למעשה בודהיות. כי אין יותר מה ללמוד, מה לטהר, מה לצבור. את הכל סיימנו. וגם השגנו את ידיעת הכל, אנחנו חופשיים מהמיסוכים של האשליות, ואפילו מהשאריות שלהם. ואנחנו מבינים את הכחות של עצמנו, את טבע הבודה, וזאת ההערה המושלמת.
So therefore, this four fundamental, the mindfulness is as the basics. How can you enter into the path of this small accumulation, part of preparation, part of meditation, the part of seeing, part of meditation, and achievement, part of no more learning. Each of these parts is related to the of these four mindfulness. We're talking the actually not only mindfulness, we say application to the four, the fundamental of mindfulness, we can say.
אז לכן ארבעת היסודות האלו, היישום של ארבעת היסודות האלו, זה הבסיס לכניסה שלנו לחמשת הדרכים, הצבירה, ההכנה, הראייה, המדיטציה והשלב שבו אין מה ללמוד יותר. כן, זה הכל.
All right, anyway, that is today, so we're going to let the question answers. If you have any questions, we have 10 minutes for question answer. Anybody, if you have any questions? Yes?
Yes, you talked about the Dharma sphere and Dharma Dato.
Uh-huh.
I want to, what is the Dharma sphere? Why do you call it sphere? Like, what is sphere there?
Dharma sphere means is like extensive, right? Vast, extensive. Make sense?
Is it means it's like all phenomena, all universe, like past, future, what does it mean?
This is actually from English. You by yourself you should be to know what means expensive. Not expensive, expenses. Expenses very expensive actually. Okay, so but anyway, as a Dharma sphere means is the reality. The nature of phenomena is, we say, Dharma sphere, the nature. Then what is the nature of phenomena? Emptiness again. Okay, emptiness, the empty nature. This empty nature doesn't mean is nothingness. This maybe oftenly any times almost use this word. Said emptiness, empty and emptiness is different. Okay? Usually many people understanding emptiness means it must be empty. No, empty house, empty car, empty bus, empty, not this is empty vase, empty cup. No, that's not point. Emptiness. Emptiness means suchness, like suchness, wisdom, suchness, empty, something like this. Itself nature is unborn. That is the meaning. It's empty. Doesn't mean emptiness means nothingness. Totally different. So therefore, your meditation during this empty Dharma sphere, you must be as much you can focus on free from any extremes. Should not your mind falling extremes of any extremes, like falling extremes of existent something. You meditate on your view is focused on the something existent. That also your mind is distracted. Okay, so therefore it's not the correct. And then if you think, okay, if the following extremes of something existent is wrong, then must be my view is non-existent. You focus that again you following the second extremes. You follow extremes of a non-existent, okay? Okay, then you say, okay, if existent, that's also wrong. If focus non-existent, also wrong, and then must be is the both of existent and non-existent, both together, union-like. Also you following your view extremes of the both existent, you know, that's it. And then if you're thinking, okay, existent not correct, non-existent focus also not correct, both existent not correct, and then must be neither nor none, you know, so neither, you know, not existent. Again you following extremes of fourth extreme. So the last, don't worry, no more. Okay, no more. So if you meditate in concentration, the views, the Dharma sphere we're talking now, the object meditation is Dharma sphere. The subject is the wisdom, the primordial wisdom. Finally, the perception of primordial wisdom, the subject and the object of the meditation Dharma sphere become one test. Union, completely non-dualistic. Non-dualistic. There's no object, no subject, different, and no active of meditation also too. So there are no three spheres anymore left. That is beyond this kind of meditation, this kind of view is recognition is the beyond of existent, non-existent, both existent, neither nor non-existent. So therefore is now finally you should not focus on existent, should not focus on non-existent, should not focus both existent, should not focus of not both, neither both non-existent. So now finally is the neither nor non-existent. That is the exactly as you have reached on the Dharma sphere. So this kind of nature is only my nature, only your nature, or that this everything's. That is nature, same, one test nature. This is Dharma sphere. So on Dharma sphere, then we can't say is your nature and my nature is same. No, we can't say. And the different, we cannot say. It's beyond of same and difference. This is beyond. Because our judgment, ordinary is the valid cognitive mind, is always thinking must be same or different. Something, or both must be, or neither, or of both. Something, this is our judgment, the ordinary perception. As long as with the ordinary perception still not yet reach the reality of Dharma sphere. So Dharma sphere object is beyond ordinary perception. But today we can do meditate the generality meaning of the Dharma sphere. And then finally you can reach there. Yeah. Yes.
From the last question, during the meditation, how do you, from your knowledge and you're inspired, how do you take out the mind from coming into thoughts?
Coming what?
When you think through the meditation, how do you take it out? How do you flush out the thoughts from your mind?
You no need to take out. Okay, if you try to take out, you cannot. Never. Just relaxed. Just relaxed on nature of calmness, suchness. Just relaxed. Leave it alone. Make sense? Leave it alone. Like the water, glass of the murky water. We cannot drink. It's dirty, it's more murky water, it's mud, right? So therefore you always worry about this and moving this cup and round, I want to drink something, what I should do, put it there, leave there, and moving, but it's always murky. And then someone says, you want to drink this? Yes, but cannot, it's mud. Okay, then leave it alone on the table, here, so wait 1 hour, okay? And thinking, all the mud is separate from the, and then the mineral water, it comes there clearly arising, and then you can drink. The pure is there up here. So like this, our mind is like murky water. Okay, like this. It's very, very dirty actually. You know, what means is anger, desire, attachment, hatred, harmful, harming mind. Even compassion, love, kindness, beautiful, but can make disturb the concentration mind also. But there's a good disturb actually. But anyway, is that also some dusty. You know, therefore, is you need to keep alone your nature mind and rest on the nature way, relaxed as much you can, and then finally you can experiencing of the nature. Otherwise, you only want to take out something of these things and throw away, and to pick up some clear things from somewhere. This is not possible. This is not the case. Yeah. Finally, no problem. Anyway, this dust nature is pure. The distraction mind nature is as Buddha actually. Okay, desire, anger, ignorance, jealous is not bad. Not only not bad, but good. Because nature is wisdom. Yes, is there no anger, no jealousy, no 5 poisons? There no 5 wisdom. We need 5 wisdom, right, to fund. 5 wisdom, how can we could fund? From where? From 5 poisons. Yes. Yeah. So 5 poison nature essential is as 5 wisdom. So therefore, finally we understand the 5 desires, emotions are disappearing by the 5 wisdom. But we was recognized beginning is a very, different, these two. So we're thinking some is very good, some is very bad. Too dualistic, the grasping, ordinary mind, and then is problem. Attachment to something, aversion to something. But anyway, this is a very high level we're talking, okay? But very beginning we should be to know is, of course, negative is not good emotions. Positive emotion is always good. But when you achievement, and that times there's no difference, positive and negative. As a one quality, one test. Very beginning, very different quality. The end is a one test, everything. That's the Dharma sphere. Dharma sphere pervading to the anger, desire, attachment, so on. Dharma sphere only can pervasive to essential of like compassion, loving kindness, and then very narrow. This Dharma sphere is too narrow, too small. That no make sense. But it's not vast, right? We said sphere means is vast, extensive. Vast, extensive means is equally, partially pervasive. Everything's essential of everything's good or bad. Top of the pure land and bottom of samsara. That is why Dharma sphere is vast, extensive, and pure issues and pure font. Something like this, I don't know. Yeah, we're going to dedication prayers.